How's it going, everyone? Thanks for joining me. I had a little bit of a technical difficulty while I was exporting the last episode, and my SD card is still connected to my computer. So for the time being, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you what I'm going to do. I'm not going to film it. You guys already saw the passenger side. I'm going to do the driver's side now, and that's what I'm talking about, is the rocker panel. For the time being, I'm just going to show you guys what I'm working on. I'm not going to film because I have my phone and I don't want to film with my phone. But once I'm done doing this, I should be able to go up and grab the SD card out of my computer. I should have the rocker panel in, and then I'm going to start that little pocket area, the step area on the driver's side. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the back of the car and work in the rear portion of the car behind the rear cross member. I'll show you guys where I'm at. And then go get my SD card and then start filming the rear floor pan process, tying all the floors in, doing the scribing around the outside edges. That's the gas tank. It's a pretty good sized gas tank, probably 10 gallons, give or take. It has a fuel gauge on the gas cap, which is kind of a nice feature. The only downfall to that is there's not a fill tube. So in the future, if someone wants to, I would say either don't put side glass in the car, or you're gonna have to add a fill tube. I would probably leave that in there because it's got the gas gauge in it and it's pretty cool. Inside this tank is spotless. That's why I purchased this tank off of a guy. I paid $30 for this gas tank. It was well worth the money. So this is where I'm at. Things are kind of lining up good, working out good. Whoever buys this car will have to figure out a battery solution. I mean, put it right behind one of the seats, in front of the gas tank on either side, wherever. I don't know, it's up to you. You could also put it underneath the floor of the car. If you did an Optima battery, you could lay it on its side. With a 6-inch channel, you have a lot of room under the car to mount a battery and to have it not really be in the way, depending on what you run for exhaust. So that's it, that's what I'm working on. That's the car right now. Kind of things are in mock-up stage. This is the area I'm gonna be working on. Rocker panel's right there. I grabbed it from outside. You can see the condition of the A pillar, the foot. And it's even worse back here. There's literally nothing back here. So I'm gonna have to add some structure to this. Gonna clean this metal up. Add a little bit of material to that so I can have something to attach the rocker panel to. Once that rocker panel's in place, I'm gonna build my step down and get everything put into place. It's like blue painter's tape. And once that's done, I'm gonna get to work in the back of the car and do the sheet metal in the back of the car. All right, so that's it. That's what I'm working on. That's what I've got done. Gonna start working on the rocker panel now on the driver's side. I'm gonna fire up the heat because it's another cold, rainy day here in Massachusetts. Thanks again, everyone, for checking out the build, following along. Tons of good comments, tons of positive vibes. I totally dig that everyone's just digging this project, digging this car. Huge thumbs up to you guys. Thank you. You guys are the reason why I do these videos. I finally had a little bit of time. It's a week after Christmas, week after New Year's. Happy New Year to everybody. Forgot to mention that. And I'm just trying to kick my new year off right and in the garage and building cool old hot rods. So same thing I did on the passenger side. While I have this rocker panel off, you can see the condition of it on the ends. I got everything ground down, kind of cleaned up, and then hit with a wire wheel. Shiny metal there. These are the bottoms of the top hat, 2 pieces. Clean those up. I'm gonna hit them with a wire wheel real quick. Those are the areas where this sheet metal comes down and breaks. Those are the 4 areas that I attach it to on the bottom of this sub rail. Right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then obviously I found this little tab here. That's where this rivet goes. It's kind of nice. That's still there. I'll be able to weld to that. And again, there's not a ton of structure here, and what is here is pretty much garbage. But if I can get this rocker panel set where it's supposed to be, once everything's tied in, I can cut all this sheet metal off and rebuild it. I'm not going to rebuild this, but again, at this point, this isn't structural anymore. You have your hinge area above it. We have my structure here, and all this metal's pretty good. Someone torched this hinge out, but I have another one of these, so I'll end up putting it in there. So this door will have the 3 hinges. It really only needs 2 to get down the road, but I'll still put that in there. So I got a little bit more cleaning up to do with the wire wheel and my little Wizzy discs. So I'm gonna get that cleaned up, then I'm gonna get this rocker panel set in place and tacked and welded in place, and then get onto the sheet metal. I didn't realize it, but the camera shut off. So you can see what I got done. I got the same panels created using the same templates for the front piece and the back piece. This was pretty straightforward. It breaks underneath, attaches to the bottom. I got all the areas on the front and the back of the door sill cleaned up, tack welded and welded in place. Floor sheet metal for now is just sitting there. It's got a few tack welds here and there, but nothing that's going to be too extensive to remove it if you need to. I drilled out the 2 holes at the front body mounts. That's going to be in front of the seats. And that's about it so far. So next is going to be the rear portion of the sheet metal. You can see what we have to work with. I'm going to be, hopefully, I don't know exactly what this measurement is to the back. I think it's pretty close to the width of these pieces of sheet metal. So I'm going to try to get back to here, or as far as I can, and then add my pieces to go around the outside edges. And then that's going to be it. I'll drill out these holes for the body mounts in the back. And then I got to build a sheet metal hump over the rear cross member. Maybe I'll just leave it wide open for now and the next guy can do it. I'm not sure. I like finishing things off. I'll probably end up doing that. So that's it. Let's get to work on laying out some measurements and getting this piece of sheet metal in the car. Alright, I got you guys in the car with me, so I figured that would be the best way to do it. Trying to see where this is going to bring me to. It'll bring me a couple inches over the rear support that I have laid out. So should be, I'm hoping I can get this all in one piece. I should be able to. So I think I'm going to use a cardboard template in order to do this, so I can hopefully get the contour of the body as close to it as I can without having to add pieces over here. I'm going to go side to side lengthwise. So probably going to use a template to do this and then lay my template on the sheet metal and then cut it out. I think I'll be able to get it pretty close. So I'm going to go find some template material and then start making measurements and transfer them over onto some templates and then get them transferred over to the metal. So I shall return. That's my template that I kind of half-assed, but I got it, I think, pretty close. You probably can't see it, but I transferred it onto that piece of sheet metal. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put it in the jump shear, cut off, I think you can see that line right there. I'm going to basically cut it off there, and it's going to make it just a little more workable for me. I didn't film the process because there was no way for me to really film it. You would have just been staring at my backside the whole time, and we don't need that. Alright, bring you guys over to my fab table. And I'm going to try to get some of these edges cut off with my plasma cutter here and here. And grab a straight edge and get this square cut out, and that'll be where my rear cross member goes. Alright, give me a few minutes. I'm going to go find a straight edge. I'll be right back. I thought you guys could see me, but I guess not. You'll see what I'm doing here. Apologize. I had you guys set up so you couldn't unfortunately see what I was doing. My apologies. So I'm getting my straight edge set up, clamped onto my sheet metal and my table, or just the sheet metal, I guess. Making sure my plasma cutter will cut where I want it to. Make sure my ground clamp is on. And I should be all set to go. So I'm going to fine tune some of the edges. a little bit of slag underneath this piece. And then this is where the guide got hung up. Oh, there we go. Alright, let's get this trimmed up and see how she fits in there. Actually, let's go test it first and then see where I got to trim, because I know there's going to be some spots. I got a little bit to trim around the C-pillar and that's it. Well, for now, we'll see how it lays down. But it's pretty close. All right, I'm gonna go grab my cut-off wheel and get to trimming. Cool. Alright. So now what I need to do is I need to make sure I measure, I figure out exactly where my mounting holes are. I'll cut some holes for those so you have access to them. Alright. So I can drill those holes now to access the body mounts. Now, I'm going to show you why I used such a big hole. Nobody likes a big hole. Are you with me? I'm going to take this piece of tubing. I'm going to put it in there, almost, kind of, maybe. Yeah, buddy, like that. I'm going to cut it off and I'm going to weld the sheet metal right to the top of that, and then I'm going to weld this, the bottom of it, to the bracket, the body mount bracket. So I'm essentially just going to create a little bit of a sleeve, and then it just adds structure right here so the sheet metal doesn't fall in. And it looks a little more finished. Oh boy, can you see what I'm doing? Yeah, I guess you can. Kinda, maybe. Yeah, you can. No, I'm going to put a fresh cut on it, like a Christmas tree. Whoa! I hate it when that happens. Okay, so I got my pieces cut. This is my second one. My first one's sitting in place. I'm gonna get my ground attached to my sheet metal, and then get this welded or tacked in place. So that, like I said, just adds a little bit more support. You have access to the bolt. Simple. It took, an extra 10-15 minutes, but when it's all said and done, it looks nice. When I get to the point where I'm gonna weld everything in, weld all the sheet metal together, I'll put a few welds onto that mount, just so it's not vibrating and hitting anything and making noise. Not that I think you would probably hear it. I don't know. I'm gonna start doing these panels here. Start with this little one here, that little one on the other side, and then I'll get to work on this piece. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do with this bracket yet. Okay, back to work. Doing a little bit of running around for a few minutes. So we're gonna get to work on my first template. That's gonna be here. Okay, that's my first one, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch extra this way, and just so I have a little bit of a spot to overlap the weld. I don't want to try butt welding it, then I take a risk of not getting my lines right. I'm just going to overlap it 1/4 inch. It's not going to make a big difference. It's just an old car, right? So that's my first piece there. I'm going to mirror it on the other side. I'm going to check and see how it fits. Alright, I'm going to get this first piece cut out and get to work on my templates for the back. Try to save all these cut-offs. Situations like this, you know? Cut out. Alright, so now all I need to do is trim these two pieces here. One of them's going to go this way, the other one's going to go this way. Pretty simple. Alright everyone, I'm gonna wrap this video up here. Hi baby. I got my puppy here in the garage with me. Come here. Come here. This is Harlow. her name, Harlow. We're gonna wrap this video up here. I just finished. You saw me doing the floors in the back of the car. I got all my filler panels in around the main structure up to the edge of the body, the inside body. I ended up removing that rear support under the rear window. It was kind of in my way. There's no structure on the bottom of the car to attach it to, so I figured cut it out for now. If I end up needing it in the future, I have it still, and I can always reattach it if need be. But for now, it was just easier to just remove it, so I wasn't working around it. That's gonna wrap up this video. I believe it's episode 6. Thanks again, everyone, for your support. Appreciate you guys following along this build. I'm having fun doing this. I like doing this. It's rewarding to be able to take a car that no one wanted and make something out of it. A lot of people have commented that. They've learned a lot watching these episodes. And again, I know I said it in an earlier video, I'm only doing this the way that I do it. I'm sure there's other ways to do it. I'm sure there's steps that I'm skipping, or maybe I'm going overboard on some things. I don't know that I am. But in situations like this where things aren't perfect, you just have to adapt and overcome. And that's basically what I'm doing here. Next video is going to be the fabrication of the rear cross member cover, or the hump. So I'm going to make that from scratch. Well, I know a lot of guys use like trailer fenders and stuff like that. I've built 2 or 3 of these at this point, 3 or 4 actually maybe at this point. It should go pretty easy, and well, hopefully, knock on wood, it does go easy. And then that'll be it as far as the sheet metal goes on the back of the car. And pretty soon, coming up, hopefully within the next week or 2, this car should have a motor and transmission in it. Alright everyone, well, that's it. Closing out this video. Thanks again for all the support. Appreciate you guys watching, and we hope to see you on the next episode. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.